At least 78 people were injured in yesterday's crash on the N3 northbound between Howick and Cedara outside Pietermaritzburg. 5 other people were killed. At least 30 vehicles, including many buses and trucks, were also involved in the crash. It caused major traffic congestion as authorities were forced to close the highway for about 8 hours. Umgeni Local Municipality Mayor Pappas says both Durban and Johannesburg bound lanes have been cleared. All right, for more on the story, we'll cross to Jade Paulse, who's standing by for us in Hilton. A very good afternoon to you, Jade. Just give us an update of what's happening there.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, and we are coming from the Hilton Community Hall where many of those passengers were housed overnight. I'm just going to ask my cameraman just behind the lens to show you some of the food items that were brought in by community members situated in and around this particular area of Hilton, and it was really a humanitarian effort. Many people came out in their numbers to assist those that were in need. There were several people that were housed and brought in here as the misty conditions persisted over this particular area, but also while some of their members were rushed to hospital during that horrendous and catastrophic accident that took place here yesterday afternoon. But just to talk to us about some of the effort brought in and also some of the stories that were shared among those community members, I am joined by Kate van Rensburg. Kate, thank you so much for joining us. Some of the stories that came out of yesterday's crash, absolutely horrific. You were just telling me off air that a 3-month-old baby also lost his mother.
Yes, I think we really witnessed true compassion and Ubuntu in the name of South Africa. It was heart-wrenching, the loss of life in our community, but also what was so heartwarming was how many people came out for complete strangers. If you had seen this hall last night and this morning, we had around 20 people, 16 to 20 people on the stage. We had different intergovernmental relations and departments coming through, civic groups, faith-based organizations, and just general residents coming to the call. Within minutes of an SMS going out, we had hundreds of meals and sanitary towels and baby supplies and water and everything here. And then it was the effort to go out and try and get people off the N3 that were stranded while recovery was in place. I think the hardest part was seeing how these families have to leave here and try and make peace of what has happened and resolve those issues. And yeah, going forward, I think they're going to it's going to be a long journey for them.
Talk to us about the families that were brought in here, the age groups, the baby that you looked after actually throughout the course of the night.
Yeah, Shem, I do have 2 children of my own, so I've got some experience, but I think when it comes to another tiny human, we're very blessed that there were family members that were here with them, that were obviously dealing with their own trauma of their own family and brothers and sisters that had been in the accident. However, I think as a community, the supplies were here, and just seeing the caretakers in the morning and just understanding that they had not had a wink of sleep, but were still so strong for this little baby. He was beautiful. He didn't cry. I was hoping he would cry, but he didn't, so I could hold him. But he was beautiful, and I think we were very fortunate as a community that we could give him a space to come and just feel safe and warm and comfortable for the evening while they get this all together. We did have various other company staff that had obviously had their cars that had to be towed away. There was various age groups of people coming and bringing supplies, but fortunately going forward, I think that they had made provisions for transport to get to their final destinations.
Kate, if we talk about the effort behind this, the community rallying together as well as the mayor of this particular area, all the supplies that are currently stationed here, I see not much has been moved. Is this because that you expect or presumably some of those passengers who are still stranded might come back tonight? They might not have a place to go to once they're released from hospital?
So what we have advised is any officials that come into contact with anybody that may still need a place is to contact Umgeni Municipality, our call centre, just to allow them to make contact with the relevant ward councillors or officials that can assist them. The supplies were endless, and here, like I mentioned, we managed to feed the people that were here. Along with that, we have managed to contact faith-based organizations, other civic groups that also often call out for assistance with food and supplies. So with that, we've got the Salvation Army that have come, and they were comforting the family of the deceased this morning, and they offered support to go down to the hospital and follow them through that process while they gather all their thoughts. But it really was incredible. Organizations were still arriving here at 12 o'clock last night after feeding people, the truck drivers that were stranded on the N3. It's just been incredible. And like I say, we as a community don't want any of that to go to waste. We're very fortunate that we are led by such compassionate leaders that are proactive and put the plea out there, and people just jump to it. And I mean, the community of Hilton, from security initiatives to the security groups, everybody, it was just incredible. There's no words to explain what was experienced here last night unless we're here. And we're very grateful to everybody for that.
Kate, thank you so much for talking to us. Well, that was Kate van Rensburg. She is a ward councillor in Ward 6. I'm going to see if I can't squeeze in the Deputy Mayor of Umgeni Municipality over here. Deputy Mayor, this must also been quite an emotional and difficult task to be housing all these people here and also to be comforting them. I mean, we saw the media, social media, a buzz. Unfortunately, some of the media couldn't come out and showcase this to our viewers because of that mist. Talk to us about behind the scenes, when you arrived there, what you saw.
No, thanks, Jade. So the first time I arrived here, I was on the scene. So myself and the Chief Traffic Officer actually went down there. Because this facility had been made available for people to come through. But the problem then became, how do we get them off the road onto here? And it was gruesome, going out there, the wreckage. And I think at some point we saw a quantum under a truck. So yeah, something that I don't hope to see any time again in my life. So that was my first point of call, was down there at the scene. But the councillors here, Councillor Jens van Rensburg and Councillor Paulse, put out a call to the community to say, listen, anyone with resources and supplies, they must come through to Hilton Town Hall. And I think within a matter of minutes, this place was flooded with all sorts of resources and supplies. So the community of Hilton has really been great, and I think they have been the stars of this whole entire operation.
Thank you very much. Well, that was the Deputy Mayor Sandile Mnakati here in Umgeni Municipality. Very, very sad news coming out from this particular area, stories. But one thing that really comes to light is the fact of the humanitarian effort behind this, the stories that are coming out, like Kate said there, of people pulling together during this very, very difficult time. And I imagine that they're going to be stationed here throughout the course of the day. As she said, we're not yet sure if some of those passengers are still in need of aid.